Let's go.
With Leeds drawing in the early kick-off, Sunderland had the chance to go 5 points clear in the automatic promotion places, coming off the back of two hard-fought wins on the road. Standing in their way was Oxford United, who are no pushovers. Oxford entered this game off the back of 5 consecutive draws. 3 of them have come against Burnley, Luton and West Brom, and they can add a win over Norwich to their impressive start to the season. Dane Scarlett and Mark Harris up front are the danger men, and manager Des Buckingham has them playing some exciting football. On the one hand, only 5 teams in the division have outscored them this season, but at the other end of the pitch they've conceded quite a lot, and top the table as the team making the most clearances. And they're actually second bottom in the league for the number of times they've won possession in the opposition third. Add to that, Oxford have not beaten Sunderland for 30 years, and their shaky defensive record sees them having to meet the top scorers in the league. Everything looked as though it pointed to an easy win. A perfect Sunderland moment awaited. Patrick Roberts was back in for Alan Brown after the bruising encounter away to Luton, but the big surprise was Simon Moore starting goal, and Patterson out injured with a fractured shin. So all that whining from Luton fans about time wasting was wrong. Des Buckingham sets Oxford up very much like Sunderland, with a holding 6 in midfield and 2 10s behind an attacking front 3 with one out-and-out striker. And their attacking style has given them a good start to the season. This has meant, though, that Buckingham has had to choose which of his in-form strikers to start each game. But today, he tried to be super attacking by playing both of them, with Scarlett up front and Harris beginning the game out on the left wing.
Doesn't happen too often, does it? But, from Oxford's point of view, I think they would be delighted if they finished the season.
That attacking aggression starts out of possession for Oxford, who want to be a high-pressing team, and their main function in this is to screen Sunderland's defensive pivot Dan Neil from being a receiver when Sunderland play out from the back. Prussian General Helmut von Moltke famously said, "No plan survives first contact with the enemy." And indeed, the first moments of this match were as good as it got for Oxford United's plan today. Regis has given the centre-backs a licence to take advantage of just this sort of situation by advancing into the half spaces to make overloads so that opponents have to come to meet them or let an attacking overload develop. This has happened numerous times this season already, and today was no different. We often saw Luke O'Nien advance to create an overload in attack. Here it's 3-on-2 if Luke can make the pass. The same thing happened on the other side with Chris Mepham. Watch Dan Neil go from being screened here to being free, and watch Mepham help create an overload. In this instance, though, he chooses a third option, because we have pace in behind. But that ball is asking a lot.
Well, Jimmy Conning, do you know what? That's another 10 minutes into the game.
And if someone does come to meet the advancing centre-half, then they invariably can't press Dan Neil as well, and he becomes free for the pass. Harris cannot come to deal with Mepham here because he'll leave an overload on the right-hand flank. So Scarlett has to leave Neil to come and deal with it. And watch Neil drift into a free space and look at everything he has in front of him to run into should the pass be made to him. The result of all this was that Sunderland always had outs to play from the back. Secondly, the players are very comfortable with rotations. Watch this as Mepham again advances into space. He has to be met, and Hume rotates into his position. And now Neil is in space, and his marker finds himself too far away. And I bet you didn't even notice it happen either. And off we go in attack. Sometimes it happens so quickly. Watching Neil drop into the back line here like a fullback, and at the same moment Hume responds to take his place as the defensive pivot, the number 6 in midfield, providing an out. And now O'Nien has a pass available beyond that initial defensive line, and we're into attack up the field. The team shape hasn't changed, but the rotations are like a cheat code in the build-up. It's evidence of Lebris's ability to very clearly articulate a plan that the players are increasingly comfortable with this shape and the rotations required. Look out for these defensive rotations. They are the foundations of our attacking options, and Dan Neil is pivotal to it. Literally, he's the pivot. As if all that wasn't enough for Oxford, they had to deal with the absurd skills of Patrick Roberts, destroying their defensive structures higher up the field.
Roberts gets his body in the way and puts it round another defender. Roberts still going. Oh, he's gone down!
Yeah, gets the free kick eventually. Started well, hasn't he, Patrick?
This resultant free kick evades the wall sausage on the floor, and it takes a great save from the keeper to keep the ball out.
Oh, what a save, by the way.
Great save from the goalkeeper, Jamie Cumming.
I think Sunderland fans in the north stand to our left thought that was in. That bottom corner.
Making things even worse for Oxford today was that the second line of defence, Oxford screened players in an effort to force opposition to the flanks. And they're not alone in trying to do this, because the traditional method for dividing up a football pitch means that zone 14 is where most shots at goal either come from or most dangerous balls into the box are played from. So teams try to keep opponents out of zone 14. But it seemed inevitable when all of this came together for the first goal. Watch here as Neil moves into the full-back position to help try and build an overload down the flank. Hume then moves into central midfield.
Here's Mundell. Sirkin. Mundell, nicely done. Here's Job.
Roberts shows inexplicable skill to deliver the ball to Hume, who does what he's supposed to do in Dan Neil's position from zone 14.
Hume to Job! There it is!
Deliver a dangerous ball into the box.
On the clock.
Down Sunderland, and that's an example of what they can do. Trey Hume with a lovely ball in.
Yeah, great header, just heads it back from where it comes from there, in between centre-back and full-back. Top of his lead, keeper no chance, just guides it into that far corner, great header.
What an outstanding start to the game it's been.
A few minutes ago.
Yeah. Obviously that one.
Oxford had seen almost nothing of the ball thus far, having only 35% of possession up to now. Harris was not in the game at all and so switched to the right wing, but nothing would change. Oxford's share of possession never got any better for the rest of the game. They would have one shot on target the entire first half, and this was it.
Mazzuni shoots. Simon Moore's down on it.
Yeah.
Any time Oxford got the ball, they were met by an aggressive Sunderland. Mepham here dominating the Oxford players to win those second balls.
Big challenge there from Mepham.
Yeah, a couple of crunching challenges from Chris Mepham.
Hume here again proving his mettle.
And he does well. Stopped by Trey Hume though.
And who has tracked the runner into the fullback position behind him? Dan Neil. Rotations in defensive cover too.
He's having one of those days, Danny.
Now, what made Sunderland so dominant today was not just Regis's tactical setup, but also the technical proficiency of our players. We're all well aware of the rapid development of wunderkind Chris Rigg, but it's important to note just how important Joe Bellingham has become this season. He has played every single minute of every single game. He's never substituted. That shows you how important Regis thinks he is, and he has become one of the Championship's most dominant forces in midfield. And today, he was everywhere, retaining the ball and putting people through.
Job. Lovely ball as well. Chris Rigg. Oh, that would have been so nice.
Yeah, slow build up from
Spraying passes.
Job. Lovely ball.
And whilst Chris Rigg showed he had drawn the roulette challenge short straw this week, Job channeled Cruyff.
And Job matching him.
Job was simply everywhere today. Here he is tracking back and defending.
Mazzuni. Sunderland get possession back.
And watch as we play out how he responds to Neil's surging play up the left wing. He moves into Neil's pivot position in front of the back four and does what you're supposed to do there. Create attacks.
It's a good flow to it at times.
Some lovely football from Sunderland, and that's another example. What a pass that is, and what a pass that is, as Wilson Isidore takes it on!
Yeah, fantastic, yeah, it's good to watch.
And as the first half ended, the only question really was when would Sunderland score their second.
Yeah, excellent, contrast to where we were.
Des Buckingham shuffled his deck at the restart, this time switching to 3 at the back and putting Harris up front now alongside Scarlett. But it made little difference. Sirkin intercepted an Oxford effort to play out, but Rigg could not repeat his goal from Luton on Wednesday night.
With space on his left foot. He's still got it.
And Oxford started to show their frustration.
Oh, Nine's caught late there.
But they did get their one shot on target in early this half, before things returned to normal.
And
Luko 9 here surges into empty space, helping make overloads.
Striding forward with it. Brings in Romain Mundell.
And Job nearly makes it too, striking the angle.
Moves inside, lovely turn from Job. Can he shoot?
Oh!
That's some effort.
The bar, hasn't he?
That's some effort from Job.
Yeah, uses his frame well there. His ball's played into him. Not sure, was it Volks that come in behind him and thinks he can nick it off him?
He just seems to have the power to make everyone else move slower than him.
He doesn't, and then it opens up.
Dennis Sirkin.
Chris Rigg nearly latched onto a Mundell cross. There's so many runners attacking the 6-yard box here.
Well, Sunderland fans felt it was...
And whilst Job and Rigg often take the limelight as the advanced 8s in Sunderland midfield, the other part of Sunderland's midfield triumvirate is Dan Neil. And there has been something of a feeling that he hasn't been at his best this season. But part of it is to do with the role he plays in this system. That is for another video. But today there could be no doubt that Dan Neil was excellent. His movement and rotating around the defence and midfield demonstrates just as much control of things as Job does in the centre ahead of him. And he remained calm under pressure all day today.
That's nice from Dan Neil. Lovely stuff.
Good from Dan Neil.
Here Dan Neil helps press an Oxford goal kick. Sunderland gather and he receives the ball in the middle of the park. He sees no player inside to pass to, and we don't have the numbers on the flank for an overload. But there is another option.
Neil. Isidore's on the end of this. Oh!
What a finish.
What a blistering goal. Just when you thought Isidore couldn't do anything more exciting than last week.
Times his range there, open as well. It was an option, and it is Dan Neil. Brings the pitching wedge out the bag, over his shoulder. Bang, what a finishing off the post.
Some excellent football from Sunderland this afternoon. And that man again is involved. Wilson Isidore.
And now, Sunderland had a comfortable lead. Oxford desperately tried to change things with 3 substitutions. But from this point on, Dan Neil just ran the game, orchestrating Sunderland and controlling things with calm, clear play.
Job and Dan Neil connecting well.
He's run it in there, hasn't he?
He's having a great game.
So often in that defensive pivot role, when you receive the ball, you're under immense pressure. Losing it is catastrophic for teams that play with a single 6 like us. But today, he never looked like losing it.
That's absolutely beautiful from Dan Neil there.
Connolly replaced Mundell, with Isidore moving to the left wing, and Brown replaced Rigg to help control the shutout for Sunderland.
Park, isn't it? And a good reception. He's been fantastic as well.
And Neil continued to make the right decisions in that number 6 position, making it look easy.
He's having a great game, Dan Neil.
Yeah.
Job's defensive strength was needed now too. Between them, Neil and Job made 16 recoveries. 10 of those were made by Dan Neil. The only player from both sides on the pitch who made more recoveries was the Oxford goalkeeper. Watson came on for Isidore, and Hjelde replaced Meffam, who seems undroppable after his 6 games coming into the side. And as the end of the game approached, Oxford tried more desperate balls.
Big run here. Simon Moore reads it.
And the last play of the match, appropriately, was Dan Neil threading yet another progressive pass through to the striker.
5. Dan Neil shifts it on. Connolly running on the shoulder. Connolly
being shepherded out on this occasion.
Outnumbered.
And that was it. One of the most routine and comfortable wins I've witnessed Sunderland ever have. The only team in the division to have a perfect week of football. 3 wins from 3 and 9 points from 9. Let's get ready to do it all again next week. See you next time.
Will be expecting us to drop off at some stage, I'm sure, but we're staying the distance and still